It's time now for the Athlete of the Week, and it's brought to you by Diamond Point and Sauk Center here on Mid-Minnesota Sports. And with us today is a state golfer. This is John Brang from Melrose. How does that sound to you?
Well, it's about time for me.
Yeah.
I've been waiting a long time.
Yeah, let's go through that. But before we do, tell us about your family first, okay?
My parents, Donald and Karen, and my sister Grace.
All right. As you mentioned, Mom and Dad, what kind of support do you get from them?
Oh, a lot of support, especially this year. Like, it's really hard to go to golf meets, and walking 18 holes it's really hard, and they've just been really supportive of me through all of it. And it's really nice.
Are there ways that you can describe then when you have support like that as you're walking around and you look back and you see some familiar faces? Does that help, and in what way?
Yeah, it does help a lot. Like, if you hit a bad shot or something, they'll kind of help you out and say it'll be all right, and you got the next shot. And it's kind of nice just looking back and seeing a familiar face. So
as you say, about time, why are you saying that?
State golf has been a dream for me. It's always been on my bucket list, and I'm really excited to go finally.
Because take us back, you're a senior now, so this was your last chance, but going back as a junior, what happened as you were a junior?
Well, last year, first day of sections, I didn't play that great. I shot 85, I think, and I was kind of bummed out about that. And then we came back second day, and I shot really well, 75, and I thought I had a chance of going to state, but the cut was super low last year. It was 154, I think, so I was really sad about that. And then this year, I got it.
Do you find yourself as a golfer then to not get too excited and get ahead of yourself out there?
Yeah, it's really important to just stay in the present and hit each shot, and don't worry about what happened last hole, or don't worry about I'm 6 over through 15 right now. You can't think like that. You have to think, this is my next shot. I have to focus on this just right now.
And as you are competing against a lot of these guys, right?
Oh yeah.
Do you take a peek, or do you try to stay away, or how do you handle that?
Well, I'll take example Cathedral. They've been in our eyes since the beginning of the year. Like, we have to beat them at sections if we want to go to state, and through sections and stuff, I always look at the Cathedral guys and see what they're at, but I don't really worry that much about it. I just play my game, and then whatever happens, happens.
So let's talk about your game. What would you say, in your opinion, what are your strengths out here?
I don't know. I'm decent at everything, not super good at one thing. I'll have my bad days with my irons or woods or putting even, but I'm okay with everything.
Does it depend on the type of course you're playing?
Yeah, for sure. Greystone, if we play that course, usually my longer clubs are better because it's so open. You can miss a little more, and putting is usually not as good there because the greens are very undulated and hard to read.
And again, being a senior now, how did you get going in golf? What got you going?
Well, I was 5 years old, I think, and my grandpa got me my first club. It was a little pitching wedge about this long, and I started playing out in their meadow area up in Alec, and one of their neighbors, Jim Lehman, that's the professional golfer, Tom Lehman's dad, he took interest in me and said that he's the best young golfer he's seen in a long time, and he was my motivation. He just kept me going through it.
Were there other guys just locally then too, or other teammates through the years that you kind of looked up to?
Yeah, Wes Dickhouse, he's definitely a role model for me. He went to state a couple times. He's a really good golfer, and I'd like to be as good as him someday.
Again, I think it's really, it starts up here, doesn't it?
Oh yeah, golf is, I think, 90% mental, 10% physical. You can think anything, and then that'll happen. Or if you say, I'm not going to hit it in the water, you're going to hit it in the water. That's just how it goes.
You're supposed to say what water, right?
Yeah, exactly. What water.
So let me make a comparison, because you're also a basketball player, about pressure. Standing over a putt that you're thinking, I've got to make this to go to state, or at basketball practice, practice is going to be done, and Coach Dusha throws you the basketball and say, John, go make a free throw. That's pressure too, right?
Yeah, it's very similar. Like free throws, I'm not very good at free throws. I'd rather be put on the green and make a 3-footer, but they're very similar, like pressure-wise, especially when it's at the end of practice and you just want to get out of there and you get the ball and you're like, oh gosh, I got to make this. And then that was kind of like yesterday with my putt on 18. It was for par, and I was just thinking I got to make this if I want to have a chance at state. So it was very similar.
And again, to get inside of a golfer's head like yourself, let's say you make a bad shot, like you said, you got to forget about it. But what are some of the things that you're just talking to yourself about going up to the next tee?
Well, I'm just telling myself if I had a bad hole, like the hole before, I just say this is a new hole. Just get a bounce back, just play through, get a low score, just get out with par or bogey even. It's just next shot, always next shot.
Because again, coming off, I'm sure you were very disappointed last year when you missed it by one. And then again, was that just a motivating factor for you this year?
Yeah, it was definitely motivating. And when I shot 75, I knew I could play well there. It was finally a moment where I can finally play well here. So, and then this year I played pretty well. So it was nice.
Well, how do you look at the state meet then too? Again, going back to the golf course, how does that shape up for you?
Oh, it's something that I don't know about. It's always been a dream for me. So,
are you kind of going in with the attitude of, what the heck, just go play?
Yep, I'm definitely just gonna go there and play. I don't know how many guys are there, 100, 150 guys there that I know are better than me. So I'm just gonna get in there and play my best.
I want to get back to touch on basketball here for just a second. I brought it up with Nicholas Olberding, with Jesse Middendorf, and again, you had just this whole group of seniors out there. And maybe to start with, how well do you guys get along?
Oh, we love each other. It's so fun hanging out with those guys. With graduation parties now, it's just super fun talking to them and seeing what they're doing. Jesse's going to be at the state meet this week, which is really cool. Good luck to him. And just being with those guys is always fun. There's never a dull moment.
John Brang has it. And he scores! So how does Coach Dusha in basketball get that message across to you? Does he talk to you individually, or is a group that, again, we've got a lot of guys here, not everybody's going to get into every game. How do you handle that? Yeah,
he does talk to us individually. We have player and coach meetings, and he told me and some other seniors that, there's not going to be much playing time for you guys, and he stresses that your role is different from your value on the team. And my role is kind of like the bench captain. I kind of run the celebrations and stuff on the bench, and it's really important to be supportive of your team, and that's why I think we were so successful this year in basketball. As you go back to somebody like Wes Stickhouse and some of those guys, how old were you when those guys won the state tournament? Oh man, I think that was 3 or 4 years ago that Wes went. And then Blake went the year after, I think. So. Okay. But I guess on that team, though, too, there were guys who didn't play, but you could see they were celebrating all the time. And this is all just part of being on the team, right? Oh, you're talking about the basketball team?
Yeah.
Oh, basketball.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that was my freshman year.
Yeah.
Yeah, those guys were awesome. I'm trying to think who were seniors that year. That was Blake Garrett's and Caesar. I love Caesar. He's really cool. And Anthony Welly. I like to think of Anthony Welly especially because he was kind of like the 7 or 8 guy that didn't get much playing time, and then comes in the state tournament, plays really well. It's just really cool to see those guys too. And been friends with those juniors that year. The Meyer boys, those guys are awesome. And the Dylan Hyder, sophomore that year, he's really cool too. So definitely look up to those guys.
Okay, another aspect I want to bring up with you too is just on the academic side, because your golf team is the section champion for academics, right?
Yeah, it's I take academics very importantly, and Werman says school first always, then golf, nothing else. That's like his motto.
Can academics, in a sense that I know sports and athletics certainly competitive, are academics the same way with you guys?
Not too much with the team, but my class especially is super competitive. We had 27 kids in the grand distinction, which is 3.9 GPA or better, and that's crazy. That's a lot of kids. And this year I was very thankful I got to speak for my class at the graduation ceremony, and I thought that was really awesome, and that was partly due to my academics that allowed me to do that.
Can you attribute that to some of the teachers that you have?
Oh yeah, I love all of my teachers. Mr. Waddell, my English teacher, Mr. Werman, he's awesome, love him as a math teacher. Miss Elliott too, she's been at Melrose for decades and she has a lot of wisdom at that school. And Miss Patrad's my Spanish teacher, love her. Melrose is a great place for academics. I like it a lot.
So give me a story on Mrs. Elliott. What is she like?
Well, last day of school for seniors, she was not happy with us. Like, we were giddy and ready to get out of there. We had her 7th hour and it was we just wanted to get out of there. And she kind of yelled at us because we weren't doing the right thing at the right moment. So, I mean, that shows that she's true to what she thinks, and she doesn't let people off that easily. And and she was the musical director, and I was in the musicals too. And she's just phenomenal at that too. She's very organized, and she knows what to do. And if we have to tweak something a little bit, she knows what to do. She's just really excellent at that.
Yeah, she's great, isn't she?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know it. So what about the future here now? You're a senior, and after golf year is done, what?
Well, I'm going to work a lot this summer, and then I'm going to the University of Minnesota, Twin Cities. Got into their Carlson Business School, so I'm really excited to be there and just continue on.
And what do you hope to do with that?
I'm thinking about accounting and management information systems. So nice desk job, not too high maintenance, hopefully, and then maybe golf on the weekends too. That's the dream right now.
All right, it's a good plan.
Yeah.
All right. Well, congratulations on making it to the state. Finally, you did it, and way to go.
Yep. Thank you very much.
All right, good luck to you.
Thanks
for being with us.
Yep.
All right. That is John Brang. He is the Athlete of the Week, brought to you by Diamond Point and Sauk Center here on Mid-Minnesota Sports.